Okay, last session. Oh, sorry.
Right. Hello.
Yeah, Anjali, 1 second. I'm just checking on the last one. So we started with this ML concepts, right? 1 sec.
Yeah. I think the course of this entire structure I was explained, I think so,
Yeah, you
right?
explained that. Yeah, yes.
So after that one, did I explain any introduction to machine learning?
Yeah,
Yes, I mean,
introduction to machine
yes,
learning also you explained, and
explain.
workflow explained, and uh, types of machine learning like supervised, unsupervised also you explained.
Okay, got it. Got it. So you mean to say the first introduction session is already done it, right? So within this particular introduction sessions, it's very simple, guys. Like what could be the workflow of the machine learning, and what is the first step, and what is the second step, and that's what I have explained. Okay. So yeah. See, again, I would like to tell you that the workflow of machine learning. So it's very simple and straightforward. There is no too much complication kind of thing. First thing is that it's a very first thing is that understanding the problem. The problem understanding. So once a problem statement, if you understood, then if you want to resolve that particular problem statement, and you must have data for that, we have to collect in a different uh, sources. That is the data collection as the second step. Once data has been collected, which is in a raw format, so that the next step we need to pre-process it. Data pre-processing. Once if we done that, pre-processing, then the data was ready for model building. That particular situation, we have to go for apply machine learning algorithm based upon the problem statement. Once the machine learning algorithm has been trained, then we can able to go for build the model. Once model has been built, then we have to go for evaluated that particular model. Whatever the model you have been generated, that particular model, we have to do the evaluation. Once model is evaluated and it is fine and perfect, then we have to go for use for some kind of predictions, as well as we can do some kind of deployment. Okay. So if in case the model is not evaluated properly, then based upon the problem statement, if it is data is not fair enough, then what we do actually, we need to collect some more data, and we have to pre-process if anything is missing and all, and we have to do it. After that one, again we have to be build the model, and then we have to be evaluated model. This is the steps. It could be continuous process until unless we get some kind of um, perfect model. Okay, this is the simple machine learning workflow. Clear?
Yeah.
So note this particular workflow, guys.
Hello.
Yep, done, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So guys, the first module, it's I already uploaded into the recording sessions and all, and you just go and collect that information as well, and no problem. So this is the module we have to concentrate on the pre-processing part. For the data collection part will be taken by the data engineers. That is not our major area of work. Our major area of work is the data pre-processing. Once data has been processed properly, then we can able to build the model perfectly. So this is the step, this is the model is pretty much important. Okay. So module number 2 is introduction to data pre-processing. Okay. So in this particular data pre-processing class or session, then what I would like to do actually, I would like to be give you like what exactly the importance of the data pre-processing. Okay. And so tell me, in your idea, you might have listen various classes or in different sources, you might get some kind of content and all, right? Okay. So can you please tell me like, why pre-processing is important before we build the model? Anybody? My first question is why pre-processing is necessary.
Generally, we get data like unstructured data, transactions data.
Okay.
We have to create into tables,
Okay.
structured ways, or
Mm-hmm.
any normalizations and etc. We use techniques,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
create
Yes.
indexes and all to fast
That's
forward.
correct. Yeah, that's correct. Because when we are collecting the data as a data engineer, his work is just to collect the data and just he can do only basic level of transformations like naming, changing the column names only. He is not even working any deep level of data actually. Level he is never go for deep into the data. Okay, he just collecting the data from the different sources, and so he can transform only the column names and or some basic things. After that one, you can load into the data warehouse. But the data what we are holding actually before data processing, we do have a step like data collection, right? For data collection, what data engineers will do, these are the one data source. This is my data source 2, and this is my data source 3. And that's how data which is available in different sources. The ETL developers or else ELT developers or else data engineers, what they work actually, they were collecting the data from the different sources. That means extracting the data from the different sources. Once data has been extracted, either we can directly load into the data warehouse. After that, they can transform, your data. That is the one step that we can call it as the ELT process. But in generally, most of the people are following the ETL process only. While extracting the data only, they can do transform means it's just changing some kind of for example age. Here also we have a column is age, and here also we have the column is age. I mean, this particular data source, we have a table. Within the table, we have the age column is there. Within this particular data source also, we have another table, and within that one also same age is there. Okay. So you might, confuse, right? What this age and what this particular age and what this particular age. While extracting the data only for before loading into the data warehouse, what ELT developers or data engineers they can do, what exactly this age is belonged, whether employee data or student data. So that's how corresponding names they can able to provide it. Is it clear? For some situations, dates and date transformations, the basic level of transformations they can do. So that's the second step, transform. Once data has been transformed, then what we can do, we can load into the data warehouse. So data warehouse, it could be warehouse for the data. So there we can able to store the whole data which belongs to that particular application or for that particular problem statement. Okay? Clear, right? So this particular data warehouse, which we have a raw data, which we have raw data. So this particular raw data, which it might be messy or it might be incomplete or it might be inconsistent as well. So that particular situation, if we try to build on top of that, this particular data, if you want to build the machine learning on top of this particular data, you might, incorrect results, or you might not even train your model as well. Okay. So that we have to pre-process it. So from this particular step, our data scientist will work, or machine learning engineer will work morely on this particular area of work only. Okay. So it's a good pre-processing. You might be get a better model. Okay. If you do some kind of good pre-processing, and your model is good enough, and it could be good accuracy, and it could be a stability in terms of stability also, your model is fine. In terms of stability, when we do some kind of a good pre-processing, and accuracy while also it could increase, and that's how your model, it could be better actually. Clear? So you might be think like, in data pre-processing, what things we can generally do actually? What things we can generally do? Okay. So I can tell you that the steps for pre-processing, it's a common steps. The steps for data pre-processing. The first step is, what is that? What is that? Handling missing data. Okay. So for handling the missing data, what you generally do? So there could be different strategies people will apply. Either if in case, you have a data set, you have a data set, and within that one, you have lots of data is there. And in particular situation, in this particular cell, the data was missed. And in this particular cell also, data was missed. But here the data which is available. Okay. So that scenario, what strategies we can do? Either you have to replace this particular missing data by some new values, or else we have to go for remove this entire row. Okay. And you can use some kind of forward fill and backward fill kind of things as well. Okay. There is a different techniques we can use for handling the missing data. The first one is remove. This is not a good approach, but generally people will try to remove the rows with this particular missing values. Okay. This is not a good idea. Why? Why? Removing the data is the only one solution.
We can do some changes or updating.
Yeah. But if you remove the rows, then what happens? Yes, there could be some kind of missing data is there. If I remove this entire data, what happened? So you might lose some, valid data also, right? Okay, if you remove this entire row, here we have data is already existed with this particular cell. So if you remove this entire row, you lose some kind of data, right? You lost some kind of valuable data. So that's the reason always removing the rows is not a good practice, but there we do have various other techniques as well. The second technique is that replace with, we have to find the mean value or median value or mode value, and we have to replace those values actually. Replace with either mean of that particular column, or else mode of that particular column and most repeated values, or else middle value. Okay. So that's how either we can replace. And last, and one more technique is that either we have to fill with the previous one, or else, next one. So, use forward fill and backward fill as well. Okay. Forward and backward fill. Clear? Any question, guys?
Yeah. Can you help me with the last point, forward and backward fill?
Just, before this particular one, you might have some kind of nearest values, right? That's either we can. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just fill with, the back element, or else, forward element. Forward element means next element.
Okay.
That is not also good practice, but only the approach is that either we can apply some kind of machine learning algorithms also to find the missing values. In advanced level, what we can do, we can use some kind of machine learning models to predict these missing values. Okay. To predict these particular missing values also, we can use some kind of machine learning algorithms, and that's how we can able to identify or finding that missing values, and we can fill out it. Okay, that is the advanced step. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do one sample thing. Let's download one particular data set, and we can try to do this particular step actually. Okay. Titanic data set. I will. Okay. I'm just downloading one data set from the Kaggle. I think I have already downloaded. So this one, I have to apply these steps on this particular thing. Okay. So in generally, I'm using that Visual Studio Code for my works and all. So I always recommend you guys as well, and go on go on download Visual Studio Code and download the Python version, whatever you're interested. Okay. Then you have to create the new folder and open the folder. So desktop X. And so I'm talking about machine learning, right? So machine learning. Yes, I'm going to be creating that machine learning and select this particular folder. So this is how we can able to go for create the project. And once you created the folder, and next thing is that you should have you should create the virtual environment. This is the good practice, guys. Whatever I'm doing in a real time, also you can try to do that in such a way. Okay. So before we start any project, make sure that you should create the virtual environment. Okay. So how do you create virtual environment? I can show you. And so here, what's the command we can use for creating virtual environment? Guys, tell me. So first of all, which version I'm using in my laptop? In my laptop, I'm using the Python 3 point something, Python 3.12.7. Okay, this is the version I'm using. So I'm going to be creating the virtual environment with this version. Okay. So if you want to create your own Python version as a virtual environment, then what we can do, you can go and download that specific version, and with the help of that one, we can able to create the virtual environment. So tell me, what is the command for creating virtual environment? Python?
Yeah, Python hyphen hyphen and name of the module.
Server.env.
Yes.
Uh,
.venv.
Dot env is our virtual name. Okay.
No.
mlenv. Okay. Virtual environment. ml environment. See here, one of the a folder has been created, right? .mlenv. So this is my virtual name. Great. Okay. So this is the command, guys. This is the command, you can use it. And Python -m venv is the command. Okay. So, and followed by your virtual name, you can give it anything. So why I'm giving dot over here? Because when you give in the dot, then it could be the top level actually. Okay. So if I'm not given dot, then this is the folder, right? So it could be go for some kind of ascending order format. If I'm go for creating some kind of files or something else, then it could be go for the last, in order wise, it could be in the last. So if you want to activate this one, it will take some time for searching and all, right? That's the reason if I do the dot, then it could be in the top level only, always. Clear? So for activating this one, dot slash and your virtual environment name, and within that one we have a script, and we have to activate. This is how we can activate the your virtual environment in terminal. Clear? Okay. So next thing is that you should have a data, right? Okay. If you want to build any machine learning model or do processing and all, you should have data, right? So it's a good practice. No, directly we can upload the data set into this particular location and we can access, we can use it. But it is not always good practice. When you're building some kind of projects and all, and make sure that you have to follow some kind of structure. So maintain the data folder or else app folders, and or else coding and pipelines and all, so different structure we have to follow it. So for maintaining this and all, I'm going to be creating that data folder, and so I'm just giving the folder name is data. So you feel that within that one you have various folders are there: input data, or else a pre-processed data, and extracted data. So different stages, we do have in different stages the data has been created. So in general, in input data, we can use as a source as a name, or else we can use like an input data. So can I tell you like, source as my data? Source. So I'm just created the data folder. Within that folder, source folder has created. Within the source folder, I do have only data files or input files. You can give any name, either input files, input data, or input folder, or else, it's up to you what name you want to give it. Once, in some situation while you are pre-processing data, okay, it is done by the some employee only, right? Okay. So the pre-processed data we have to store into the one more location, right? Okay. So that what I can do, I would like to go for create the folder. Okay. This is the source folder. Yes. I'm just uploading the file. Yeah. I think I've just downloaded the file, right? So I'm just going and accessing that one. This is my file, so that I'm just downloaded, and just go there, my location. That's my location, machine learning and data. Within that data, I have a source. And if you want to rename it, you can rename. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Down. Yes. Within this particular source, my control shift N source. Then pre-process it. Okay. Pre-process data. Different name we can give it. Process. Okay, you can give any name actually. Naming conventions is up to you. Okay. Just download again. Let's still running. Data source. So here we have to go for apply, not upload. So, okay, cool enough. Now we can see that your preprocess and source. Within the source we have a Titanic CSV file is there, right? Okay, and once if you do the all the steps on this preprocessed steps on your this particular source data, and we have to save that particular one into this particular folder. Why I have created this one? Okay, so this in generally what people will do in the same project will work multiple people, right? Okay, so if I'm given a task to one person, like he has to process and that data we have to store into one particular location, right? So we have to store this particular location. The data who are building that machine learning, they can use this particular data, pre-processed data. Okay, clear, right? So yeah, yes, as a first step, now, so data is done. Now I
Hi,
would like to
Anja.
go.
Actually,
Yes.
I have a question here.
Yeah.
You have saved the Titanic dataset in the file, particular file. Na? Okay, can we save the another file also? Means, for example, this project is completed. Can we save another dataset also in the
Yeah, yeah.
same path?
You can do it. You can do it.
Okay.
So why I'm creating this particular folder, all the ML projects I'm going to be creating into this location only. Okay. So all the data sets, what I'm going to be using, I have to store into this particular source folder only. Okay. Once I have done all the steps of the pre-processing of that particular data, I have to store into the pre-process only. Once data has stored into the pre-processed, then what I can do, I have to go for build the various machine learning models. Clear? Clear, right?
Yes, clear.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, okay. Okay. So any machine learning projects or any deep learning project, our first step is pre-processing. So that is the reason I'm going to be creating the proper workflow. So data, it's a data collection. Second, what is the second step? Second step is data pre-processing.
Pre-processing.
Okay. So in data pre-processing also, why I have created. So in future, if you're working with another project, so I'm going to be creating the a file within this particular pre-processing only. Okay, you don't need to go for each and every project and different things. Okay, clear, right? So all projects are I'm holding into the one location. Okay. Yeah. So now this is the Titanic pre-processing. So that I'm going to be creating that folder name is file name is Titanic pre-processing dot ipynb is a good thing because pre-processing is a step there we have to do lot of understanding while you are doing pre-processing. So that I'm giving that interactive Python notebook file, Jupyter notebook. Okay. So all data pre-processing, it's a good practice to create, Jupyter notebooks only. When from that particular Jupyter notebook, we can convert into the code also. But I'm using Jupyter notebook. In each and every step, we have to be understanding is important. What step you are executed and what's the result you got it from that particular result, what you understood, that is pretty much important. Okay. So that's the reason I'm going to be creating the Jupyter notebook. And it's up to you. You can directly create the code also, but every time we have to run it and we need to understand entire code. That's a that's a different thing actually. So I always recommend that in a pre-processing, it's a good practice. Go and use Jupyter Notebook. Okay. And one more thing is that for this particular entire project, I may require some of the libraries. Okay. I don't know what libraries I'm going to be using. Just think like, you're you know nothing and I know nothing. Okay. So just, when you start building anything, and so by the way, you have to use different kind of libraries and frameworks that all you need to be installed in your virtual environment. Okay. That you all need to be installed into the virtual environment. Either you can install all into one time with the help of the requirements.txt file, or else you can install one after one, but you don't know what are the libraries you are used in this particular project and all. So that's the reason, I would like to recommend that requirements.txt file is important. Okay. Let's go for create here also. Okay. Mm, this requirements is txt file for entire this particular machine learning, so that I'm just creating that cat. Mm, it's a PowerShell. Okay, I can't create that. Okay, requirements dot txt. I would copy and paste into location. I have to change. I'm unable to do it. That's the reason I would like to copy machine learning processing, and this requirements.txt. I would save it in the top of this one. Okay, so just go there and see here. Okay, so you have created requirements.txt file, right? See, and so I would go for um, use different libraries, right? What is the first library? Import pandas, because pandas is the framework, and which could help you for to do various data pre-processing. And here it is no running it, right, detecting the kernel, and here we have to select which kernel you want to use it. Okay, I'm going to be using the ML environment. This is the version I would like to go for use it. Okay, so I'm going to be using the pandas library, and my first step is what I want to be right. My first step is I have to change from Python to Markdown, because I would like to talk about first step. What is the first step? What is the first step?
Data preparation, handling missing values.
Handling missing data. So for handling the missing data, what we have to do, and the steps I'm going to be do it. So I would, okay, it's eight thing. So, okay, yes, fine. So I have to change into the code, Python code. Yes, fine. Now I do have a data, right? I'm going to be working on Titanic data. So for accessing that Titanic data to your pre-processing also, this is the data I'm going to be accessing into this particular location. Okay. So I would use the library. The name of the library is Pandas. Import Pandas as a PD. So I already told you whatever the libraries we are going to be using, that libraries we can try to copy here, and either you can install all the libraries in one time, okay? Or else if I'm giving this particular project to my team member, he don't need to be look that what libraries he want to install it. He just check that requirements.txt file and he can try to be install it. Okay. Yeah. So this here it is asking that when you're working with Jupyter file, so that this IPY kernel package is important, that we can install it. It will take some time for installing, one time installation actually, this IPY kernel. Otherwise, we cannot use this one as like Python. I hope you try to understand why I'm creating this particular structure. And this structure only in generally we do use in real time. We can directly create pre-processing. We can directly create the Jupyter notebook and fold into that particular file into same location. We can start working on it. But it is not a good practice. So here it is installing. Yes, installation is done. Again, we can run it. So here we got an error, right? Previously we got some different error. Now we got one more error, that it's a model not found error, which means that this pandas was not installed in our environment. So here we can option pip install followed by the pandas. So when you are installing this, pandas will be installing into or rolling into the ML environment. If you feel that in a way we are available, let's see, in a lib, we do have various files are there. Okay, these are all modules. And I think we don't have any kind of pandas library as of now. If you install it, then this pandas will be installing into this particular environment only. Whenever you're installing, automatically the NumPy was also installed. See, NumPy, PyTZ, and TZ data. These are the different, you know, prerequisite libraries for this one. So previously we don't have any pandas. Just now it was created. This is how, whenever you're installing that packages and all, which is holding into this particular environment. If you not created this environment and if you're not activated, this could be directly installed into your base environment or base Python 3.112 environment. That is a base environment. This is your own environment. Okay. So okay, it is done actually. So now we can try to install this one. I'm going to be creating one more cell because we got a model not that I'm keeping over here. Okay. And you're able to install it. And so that is a library we need to use it. For reading the CSV files and all, we can use read CSV or importing the data. Importing the data to preprocessing Jupyter Notebook. How do I import the data? So we do have read underscore CSV. This is the one method. And with the help of this method, we can read any CSV files And currently you are in where? You are in data pre-processing. You are in data pre-processing folder. Your current working directory is data pre-processing folder, and your source file which is available in this particular location. So that is the reason you should copy the path of source path, a data path. So data path. So you should have a data path, right? Tell me what is the data path? You just copy this location. Control C. This is my data path. Okay. Okay. So this is your data path. What is the file name? So file name always change, right? And your input file, your input file. What is the file name? What is the file name of your input? It's a Titanic dot CSV. So we have to keep change this one. Either you can use source or single slash also. We can change to this direction. Otherwise, you will get an error. Okay. Now, data path plus data path plus what? Input file. Just checking whether it is working or not. So data underscore, right? Yes, it's working. Okay, fine. So this is how we can read your data. This is how we're able to go for import our data. So, this data path is common, right? That is the reason I'm creating this particular location. Next time onwards, if you're uploading some new file and that file name, you just keep change. Okay. Every time you don't need to copy this location and you don't need to change this one. You just copy this one and we can use this data path location. Okay. Clear?
Hi Anjan, actually we can directly read the PD dot read underscore CSV
Yeah,
directly we
that's
can
we
read
can
now.
do, but next time I'm always, next time. Next
Oh,
time means next
actually
time.
without mentioning the data path, we can directly read the file now.
Yeah, we can read the file, but the file location, which was in a different location, right? Your data pre-processing um, Python location is different. This is the your Titanic pre-processing location. Now you are here, okay? But your source is here. Your file is somewhere else. So you have to keep the path name. If you not give the path name or path file path, then how it will be access that file? It's just a mission, right? It cannot understand, where exactly our file is available. Right or not?
Yeah, okay.
So you should give your file path. So if in case your data pre-processing and your Titanic both are in the same location or same folder, then that situation we cannot provide this entire path. But in this particular scenario, your data which is available in different source and you're working in different location. So mandatory we have to provide the file path. Otherwise, you will get an error. So just remove this particular file path, and I'm not even using this one. You directly give the file name, then you are getting an error. So file not found error. Okay, clear?
Yeah, clear.
Okay. So you have created data frame. Now, so I do check what are the, checking null values. How do you check the null values? How do you check the null values? df dot
Info
is
is okay.
null.
Is null. Okay.
Is null, and so if I'm giving the sum method, then with help of this statement is null, which will be returns the only null things. With help of the sum method, we can count what are the nulls are there in each and every column. So if you see this one, and we do have various columns are there, and what is this passenger survivor with just the look the table names or column names, passenger ID, survived or not, P class, name of that passenger, and so gender and age. Within this particular age column, there are 177 missing values are there. That means whether they are children's or whether they are old people or young people, we don't know, right? Age. Some of the columns are some of the age things are missed, and cabins missed, and embarked is missed. Only three columns are missing. Only three columns having some missing data. Okay, age is 177 missing values, and cabin is 687 missing values. Okay, rest of all things, data is filled with some data. Whether it is good data or bad data, I'm not sure, but the data is filled with some data. I mean, each and every column, each and every cell has been filled with some data, but only 177 missing, 177 age, and 687 cabin, and 2 embark are missing. Okay, clear? Now, either we can do different options, right? Or different techniques. What are the techniques? The first technique is, tell me, dropping rows. My first technique is dropping rows, right? So simply what we can do, how do I drop it? Then we can have a drop method with help of the drop now. And what are the null values are there? Wherever the null values are there, that entire row has been deleted. See, actually we have only 177 age rows are missed. But from coming to this one, there are 687. There could be a chance of both are age row and cabin row. I mean, wherever the missing values are available in age and wherever the missing values are available in cabin, some situation it might be same, some situation it might not be same. Okay. So if you remove these rows, what are the rows, what are the age, 177 age records are there, that entire rows will be removed. And it may be, it can be removed passenger ID, survival ID, class ID, and everything. Okay. And the cabin data also has been removed. And before that, I would like to be check that, info method, so that we can know that, how many records are there. There are approximately, how many records are there? Total entries are how many? 891 entries are there. So out of the 890 entries, if you remove the 687 entries, then do you have that particular data? All data has been deleted, right? Okay. So anyway, I would like to go for delete or dropping the rows. Okay, I would like to go for dropping the rows, but I'm not holding into the same record. I'm just using different name because we should know how many data points you missed it. Okay, because of this particular step. Info. See, 183 records are there. See, previously we have 891 records are there. Now we do have only 183 records. How much data you lost? Tell me. How much data we have lost? Total is 891, right? What is the formula for 1 minus? Okay. 1 83 by, I'm just finding that data loss. Okay. And 891, and the entire result I would like to be multiply with 100. So this much of data has been lost. Whatever the data we have it, out of that, 80% of the data is lost. So if your 80% of the data is lost, that is not a good practice actually. So 80% of the data is lost, then what you can do? All data has been lost only, right? You lost all data. You lost all the data, right? Okay. So this is not a good step, and we do have another steps also there. And so fill now, right? So we can able to fill with median values and mode values, right? So fill with second option. Your data is not changed actually. I'm just storing into the different location. I'm just changing into the different data frame. Okay, your original data, I'm not modified anything. Just I have been applied this drop down method. I have stored into the different data frame. Okay. Now I'm just doing another step, filling missing data, missing age with median. Okay. So df underscore age, and this is how I would like to update the age only, right? So that df underscore. No, what is the column name? Is the wage? It's a capital letter is important. Capital letter. Okay, make sure update capital age. Okay, and I would like to fill with now means null. You're going to be filled with df age median. So you're calculated the median value. You're calculated the median value of the age, and this particular median value, wherever the missing values are there in your data frame, or wherever the missing values are there in age column, so you are updated, you're filling with a median value. Okay. So now if I do the info, then previously we do have see 891 non-null values are there previously. Before this step, 717 non-null values are there. After this step, we have data has been filled with median value. Okay. Clear? So now my next thing is that you can try with, you can assignment. You can try with other columns. Okay. Clear? Any question? Any question, guys? Any question?
No, Anjan. Clear.
I can upload this recording into the Canvas playlist. Please provide your phone number, your phone number, email IDs to my WhatsApp number. +91 76 96 96 76 32. Okay. So please WhatsApp your mail IDs for class recording or the playlist access. That's for today's session, guys. Bye. Take care.